do you believe that most people have a real sense of the enormity of this spill?
No, because they can't see the oil. The oil is underwater. You know, there's not only the plumes offshore, but some days you come on the beach and it's just solid tar balls as far as I could see. You know, it washes up from underneath. It's not floating. You don't see it floating all over. People had no idea where to look for it. Now, on a beach such as this, you can see it when it comes up. What if it washes into the marsh? Right here, it gets on the sand, and actually the next day the sand covers it up and it sinks. In the marsh, there's nothing to cover it up. It's just there, and it's going to stay there, and it's going to kill. It's going to kill the things on the bottom of the food chain, the larvae and the eggs, the oyster spat. And when it does that, we're going to lose many, many year classes of fish. And if God forbid, if a hurricane comes and puts millions and millions of gallons on top of the marsh, you know, that's a doomsday scenario for me.
Is it a concern? You know, we've run a lot of marsh that you know, you don't see it on the banks.
On low tide you will.
At low tide you will.
Yeah, low tide you see a lot more because it's under the water again. You know, it stays there.
So it's in the sediment.
On low tide you come and the banks are just solid oil.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
People don't go to remote areas like this. Yeah, there's no people here.
Right.
They don't know. It's underwater. I know because I've seen it. Here on the beach or surf clams. It's what ducks eat and a lot of fish eat them, and drum and such. Now on day 47 they had tiny pods of them. Now the entire beach is full. You would think it was broken up shells, but it's actually whole clams. You see in my hand, these are baby clams. We call them surf clams. There are 1,000-fold what was here on day 47. So the toxins in the oil are just killing them, and it starts on the bottom of the food chain. These are what our ducks survive on, especially our scaup and redheads and things that are endangered already. So I think it's bleak. Is
it more an issue of waterfowl, or does this affect the fishing as well?
This is where the ecosystem starts on the bottom. You know, when you start killing the crustaceans and the invertebrates and the tiny animals, that's the food chain, and when you kill that, everything else is sure to follow.
Okay.
I'm not a gloom and doom guy, but this is 1,000-fold what it was on day 47.
So just what, 6 days later, 7 days later? So
10 days.
10 days later. Yeah, this whole beach has been just lined with the clams.
Before, you can see all the brown in it. Those are oil, the mousse they call it. You see all the brown that's in it? Mm-hmm. And they had pods of them here and there. On day 47, the entire beach is covered. Oh yeah, that's not good.
Mike, we've been to a lot of places. We've seen a lot of marsh that is at most minimally impacted. We get here to East Grand Terre Island and we really see a lot of oil. We see a lot of dead mangroves. We see dead hermit crabs, dead blue crabs. I think there's some dead catfish. Oil sheen everywhere, thick gooey oil on the island shore. What does that tell you about the potential that this spill has for the coast of Louisiana?
You know, seeing something like this, it's kind of scary. You know, we've been around a lot of places that look pretty good, and you start to think, hey, maybe this isn't going to be as bad as you know, we think. You know, we know 60,000 barrels of oil a day are still flowing into the coast. We know there's millions of barrels out there, but we just don't know where it's going to make landfall and how far into the marsh it's going to occur. That unknown's the most frustrating and scary part of it all, because you can see what happens here when it does make land in the right conditions. We've got hermit crabs trying to get out of the water because the water quality is so poor. If any pelicans or other birds got into that bay behind us, that little inlet, they would be coated in oil pretty quickly, and we know that's not going to be a good result for them.
And the smell is really strong.
I mean, licking my lips here, you can taste and smell this oil. It really is. I mean, you can see it, but you get a full sensory impact here with all nose, taste, and with your eyes. And I mean, a site like this is going to be the one that I think about tonight before I go to bed. And you know, every time I try to be optimistic and think maybe it won't be that bad, you see something like this. But the unknown is what continues to really bother me. We know there's oil here. We know it's going to hit shore at some point. We don't know where or to what extent. We know waterfowl are going to be coming here in 2 months, starting with blue-winged teal, and then 13 to 15 million ducks and 1.5 million geese over the coming fall months. And we know if they interact with the oil, it's not going to be good, but we don't know how that interaction is going to go.
Now, we are obviously right on the edge of the Gulf. Okay, so we're pretty far down for waterfowl. However, does it give you pause to think what the potential impacts might be on truly on the waterfowl if we get a summer storm, if we get the right tidal movement?
I mean, we've been lucky so far, and there's not a lot of marsh. I mean, a lot of oil working into the freshwater marsh and those backwaters. But you know, this is an example of what we can expect if we have the right weather conditions. I mean, just the right winds and tides can push oil into some bad places. A tropical storm or a hurricane could be devastating to the interior marsh and the continued flow of oil. I mean, we've got to get it stopped first so that we can move on. And
then they're talking about probably realistically it's starting to look like August before the relief, at least before the relief will.
Yeah, I think, you know, they're talking about the top hat slowing things down a little bit, but you know, new estimates that are a little bit more accurate, I think, are actually going the wrong direction. We're seeing increased levels, 60,000 barrels per day now, and that oil's got to go somewhere. And I just hope we can take care of a lot of it out on the open water before the conditions bring it into inland.
What do you want people to remember, to take away from watching this tape, seeing the pictures, you know, maybe doubting the media coverage, you know, with the skepticism of the media just sort of sensationalizing the situation? What do you want people to remember?
Well, I think right now we have to just remember the scope and scale of this. I mean, this is a really disheartening spot right here. But on the whole, at this point, things are, you know, okay, but that could go the wrong direction. So I think we just got to keep on top of it, keep watching what happens, be aware, and be ready for, you know, if some things happen, you know, like a hurricane or tropical storm, we could see some of the worst of what this oil spill could be.
Ryan, we are in the middle of a huge patch of just dead sargassum. Have you ever seen it like this close?
No. When you do see it, it's even in here, it's a yellowish green. But this, you know, I've never in my life seen so much of it. It looked like the whole place is a garbage dump. It's, you know, the oil killed it. But look at it. Look as far as you can see.
What does this tell you about the oil spill?
Hey, this is part of the ecosystem, just like those little clams. You can feel the oil on it. It's this is part of it. Without all these things, if you start killing these food things and the bottom crustaceans and all, the rest is going to follow. If you kill the bottom of the food chain, the top can't survive. It's just the way it is.